Good day. Today we're going to be looking at the Argon 1 M.2 SSD drive adapter board. Now, I recently got the Argon 1, so I decided to just purchase the adapter board. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to look at that right now. We are going to be upgrading our Raspberry Pi system here. As you can see, it's definitely time for an upgrade. What I want to do today is I want to use my Argon case here. This is an awesome piece of Pi right here. So right now I only have a Raspberry Pi 4 gigabyte in there. I want to run my 8 in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap the guts out of here, put it in here, and then we are going to go ahead. I just got in the mail, I've got the Argon 1 M.2 expansion board. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this guy installed and see how well it works. The reason why I wanted to upgrade was basically because the more speed I can have on my Raspberry Pi in any form factor, the better. So whether I'm doing designs in CAD or I'm doing video editing or playing a game even, I want the quickest, fastest data access that I can possibly get. I do know with the Raspberry Pi 4, really the CPU is great on it when you're just doing what I've been doing on it, and I use it all the time as my daily desktop. What I would love to do is to be able to use the M.2 board. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna power down my main desktop here. I say this is my main desktop because that's basically what it is. So in it I do have that SaberNet USB sound card on there. I have my 500 gig Samsung Evo, what is it, solid state. It's the 860, I do believe, which I will probably be repurposing alongside this guy for video storage and stuff like that, but and storage basically, and then I can move all my main stuff onto the Argon. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna get this all going here. I got to get a little bit of space going on here. It's a little tight. And then yes, I have my Logitech USB. Now right now I'm not running dual monitors on this thing. I definitely might go back to that once I see how well this M.2 board performs, and yeah, we'll go from there and see what happens. So right now I will say I'm booting right off of that Samsung Evo 860, so I don't have a micro SD card in at all, which you know what, that's fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna remove my old stuff here. So this case was actually for a Raspberry Pi 3 that I retrofitted to accept my Raspberry Pi 4, and that was just as easy as taking some side cutters and just modifying the case a little bit. So when there's a need for something, we will accomplish it. So that's it. That guy is done with for now. So I'm going to put that aside. I'll probably put my 4 gigabyte model back into here, which I was using as my desktop unit prior to this. And that way I can probably maybe run even, I don't know, a NAS server or something on it. We'll figure out something. So I do need a Phillips screwdriver here. So, and right now I do not need the micro SD card in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that out. I need a smaller screwdriver. Yes, I do. This should do the trick. Alright, so I have not even looked at what was all included on the Argon M.2 here, so we'll see what happens. I got the Argon, this board here from them. as I won it in some prize draw or something like that. And they didn't have, and they were sending it out by Amazon, but they didn't have an Amazon Canada store set up. So I think I was the first person that got something from them when it came to that, because yeah, as soon as their store was up, they sent out my case. And I gotta say, I absolutely love this. If you haven't seen my other video on it, make sure to check that out. So in here, we do have at least one screw holding it down. I think there should be more than just one. So we're going to pop this guy out because we want to put in our other one. Oh no, that's right. Because then the rest are the outer screws from the shell. And then I think I do need to remove... just doing this by memory here, and then I gotta remove these three, and then I should be able to remove this from the board. Let me just make sure I'm in frame here. All right, we're still good. All right, so this is connected to the GPIO, so we're just gonna pull that out, just like that, and then we're just gonna pull that out, and then we're just gonna pop this guy in. Okay, some of that dust off there. Alright, so on the inside here, it has the jumpers for the fan here. 1 to 2 is default, 2 to 3 is always on. I'm going to go ahead, and I had it set to the default, but because I do use this and leave it on all the time, I'm going to go ahead and set it to always on. Now, one thing about this is these guys here are going to have to come off, I do believe. So I need to at least remove this heatsink and the two I got down here. I'm going to have to remove them. So I'm just going to do a little twisting fashion here and then just pull them off. And just do that the same way. Try not to hit any of the resistors on the board, and just be gentle, just wiggle it out, and then it should come up at some point. One of these guys should, and then I can slide the other one over. There we go. Save those guys for putting on the other board there, and then we'll put it into the other case. I've been asked quite a few times, do these heat sinks actually help? Yeah, they do. Don't think they don't, because they really do. So I am leaving the one on. I'm hoping it won't touch the top GPIO pins, but we'll find out here shortly. I would like to keep it on, because any other extra internal cooling I can add, the better. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to get... always try to make sure the screws go back kind of where they came out of. Alright, so now we have the... that's as far as I'm going. I'm not putting the bottom on quite yet. So let's get our knife out here. And let's open up this guy here and see what we got inside here. And we'll have one more first tonight, that's for sure. And that'll be for the software setup here, because I want to clone my previous desktop. But I'll be using the USB. Hopefully. Oh man, I'm murdering this box. I don't want to. It's so pretty. Argon, if they drink my vitamins, are you sending me something for free? Alright, let's have a look here. I'm excited here. You don't even know. Alright. So we've got in here, there is the USB 3.0 adapter. Now, I remember back in the day, I say back in the day, like a year ago, we had issues with USB 3 being able to boot off of it. So I'm hoping that's all resolved in the firmware updates and that. Should be. We'll go with it. We'll hope so. So anyways, that is the Argon M.2 expansion board. Well, it's right here. Let me just get this out of the way here. So what do we got here? We got this little instruction booklet of how to put it on and how to install our M.2 drive. Where So it's just going to go through the previous install of this stuff here, because you can buy this all as one kit, which I actually recommend for the price. For the case alone is like $50 for another 17 bucks Canadian. You could get this, but I ended up having to pay 27 bucks, so I might as well just bought another case and gotten a deal on the M.2, right? So that's what I was thinking. So let's open this guy up here. What do we got here? We've got some rubber feet. Yeah, we got some rubber feet and 4 screws. I think the 4 screws are for something here. I don't know. Anyways, let's have a look here. Maybe it's for the bottom of the case. That could be. Oh, had to peel that off, and it's got Argon 1, M.2 in the bottom here. That's a nice case. I like that. Looks a little bit lighter. Oh no, they're both smoked out the same. The only issue I have is I don't have a board for it right now. So all I have is that Samsung Evo Plus NVMe. So I won't be able to use that on here. I'm going to have to order another drive.
Much later.
Well, less than 24 hours since we last had our chat. For you, it's been merely a couple of seconds. So what I've done is I've got a drive for this guy. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get my Raspberry Pi shut down. And then we will go ahead and get everything swapped over back to this guy. We'll get our new drive installed. And then we will get the unit all set up here. This is the right screwdriver. So once again, we're just going to take it all apart. I did want to install the software that you can use with your Argon 1, and basically it helps you control your fan temperatures, which you will have to set up to be able to get cooler temperatures. Now it was running, I usually leave it with the fan always on, but I was still only getting about 39 degrees, 38, that kind of a thing. Whereas my other unit over here definitely produced a lot cooler temperatures. Now to the touch, this thing is fairly warm, I'm not going to lie. I definitely don't think it gets rid of the heat as much as I'd like, but it's probably the best case that I've actually dealt with on the market. Everything else has been nowhere near those cooling results. And I don't have an ice cooler or anything like that. I want a case for my Raspberry Pi desktop, so having something that looks cool is definitely a bonus to that. Do not use the NVMe drives. You need the SSD SATA M.2 drives. And so all I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this guy here. So what I will be using is a Western Digital Blue, and this is a B&M M.2. And the way you can tell that is you'll see the B over here and the M over here, or vice versa, sorry, B here, M there. And that's what you're going to want to use. So I'm not sure which way the orientation is on this, so because it is a B&M, it has the space for both there. So once again, this is going to be a learning experience here. I'm sure I could have looked it up, but either it's going to work or it's not, right? Is what I figured. So I am going to put it in this way and hope for the best. Basically, if the Raspberry Pi boots up onto my other drive there, then I know it's working properly. There's no errors, because what will happen is it will lock up. If it's not working, it'll lock up my desktop, and then it's no good. So we're just going to get that in there and put that on there. Now I'm really wishing I did buy the other case with it as well. Now I've been looking at the full kit with the M.2, and it has the bigger HDMI ports on it, and a few other things they did to it. But with that being said, there's nothing wrong with this. I've previously bought HDMI cords, so I can still do dual HDMI out. I just would have liked to have been able to have those available for now. The more of the Raspberry Pis that I've been acquiring, so that way I can have them set up elsewhere. So I'm just waiting for it to access the old SSD drive here before I go ahead and take that off. I'm going to show you here. It's not going to be the greatest video here, but I'll give you a show here. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a few things up on my screen. I have no mouse again, but I do have it showing up that there is 499 gigabyte volume there. I'm just going to give it a moment here and let it try to do its thing here. Okay, so we're ready to get everything up and running. It seems I had a little issue with my USB dongle for my mouse and keyboard. I had it in the USB 3.0 port in the back of the machine, which it usually works on the other one. So I don't know why it decided to not want to work this time, but I swapped it over to USB 2.0 and we're good to go. We do have our 499 gigabyte drive here. Looks like Glenn decided that not to wipe it. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and wipe it and carry on with our install here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Raspberry Pi icon, and then I'm going to go to, where is it? Accessories, and then SD card copier. This is going to automatically wipe that entire drive there, so that way, sorry Glenn, I hope there's nothing on there that you need, because it's gone. Sorry. So obviously this drive has a little bit of use on it. That's okay. It should definitely serve its purpose for this video. So we're gonna put the new partition UUIDs on it, and we are going to transfer everything from my Samsung Evo SSD drive, my 250 gig, over to this Western Digital 500. I thought my Evo was a 500 gig before. So 500 gig, that's going to last me a long time, and hopefully this all works. I'm just going to go ahead and click on start, and yes, we want to wipe the entire target. That way we don't need any of that information on there. So once again, sorry Glenn, if there was anything on there you needed, it is long gone in just a second here. So right now we're copying partition 1 of 2. And copying partition 2 of 2. Once this is complete, all we're going to do is we are going to power down the Raspberry Pi, unhook our old drive, and we're going to boot up the Raspberry Pi with the M.2. Now on my desktop here, I do have the Raspberry Pi diagnostics of my Samsung Evo SSD test. And once I do that, I'm going to load up it again and see what kind of results we get on the M.2 drive. So this might take a little bit depending on the speeds of the SSD and yeah. So it should go pretty quick compared to usual, but we'll see what happens here. I'm going to stop the video until this completes. I can see that you cannot see what's going on there. So there it is. I totally forgot to do that. So that was, like I said, up top here and then down to accessories and then SD card copier. And then I just did the UUID, new UUIDs, and copied my Samsung Evo 860 to the Western Digital 500 gig. We're starting to pick up now. You can see that's happening. So I'm going to stop the video right here. I'm going to come back as soon as this is completed copying the partition. All right, so we're getting down to that last little final bit here. After we do this, we're going to go ahead, we're going to remove the USB drive from the Raspberry Pi, and then we're going to boot just off the M.2. Now, supposedly, I don't think I need to follow any other steps to get it going, so I'm just hoping this works. And then I'll get my couple other things plugged in, and I will rerun that Raspberry Pi diagnostics, and just so you're aware that you can do this too on yours. And if you go to accessories, and then you can go to Raspberry Pi diagnostics, and from here you can run your tests. See what you want to do. Once you're done though is go to the show log, and this is where you're going to get a lot more of your information of your read and write speeds. So make sure you do that because once you run it, it'll just say yes, you passed or you failed, and then you'll have to go to the show log file to get all that information. And I'll just bring up this one here. So on my test for my Samsung Evo, these are my results here. Basically, my write speeds are about 28.9 megabytes a second. So we'll be able to definitely tell if there's much of a difference. And we'll compare both of the results here and see if it was well worth upgrading to the Argon 40s or Argon 1 M.2 SATA expansion board. Now, if you're running just a micro SD card on your Raspberry Pi 4, I suggest using anything else because it will be a lot faster. Even a USB 2.0 drive, an SSD drive, or something like that will make life a lot easier. Now, I've had no issues with my SSD drive prior to this, so that's why to me upgrading I wasn't too sure, but if I get a substantial difference in those read and write speeds, I'll be quite happy. Now our SD card copier is saying copy complete. We're just going to go click on OK. We're going to close that, and we're going to shut down the unit, and I will point this down here for a second. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the hard drive off of it from here. So I'm just going to pull those two cables out there. So now this unit is no longer needed up there for right at the moment. I did have, well, I think I just lost a micro SD card. Alright, anyways, we'll have to hunt that down. Oh, there it is. It's hiding way over there. So what I originally started off with was just a Lexar 32 gig micro SD card. That's what I was using. Then I upgraded to a mechanical drive to try it out, and then I was like, okay, well, then I'll try I think I tried 120 gig Kingston SSD drive. And then recently my main one has been that Samsung Evo, the 860, which has been phenomenal, but it's only been running on USB 2.0. Now we have that ability, hopefully, to run off of USB 3.0, which I didn't test prior. Okay, so that at least fits in there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that my sound card fits in there nicely. Alright, so there we go, and I'm going to power it up, and you'll see the light come on here, and I'll pan up. Hopefully we will see something happen up here that says that we are running on it. Kind of nervous here. Oh, we've got stuff happening. Okay, that's moving fairly quick. Wow. Okay. Quite happy with that. Oh, my Spotify logo has disappeared here, and I seem to be missing something else on my desktop. Oh, my trash can's missing. That's what's missing. Anyways, I'll get to that here soon enough, and we will see what's going on. So right away, I'm bringing up the Raspberry Pi diagnostics here, and I'm just going to run the tests, and it's going to run those speeds on the Raspberry Pi. And now we're going to go to show log, and for preparing a file, we were at 29 megabytes a second. Now we are at 326 megabytes a second. Our sequential write was at 28.87, and now it is at 318 megabytes a second and some change. Our 4K went from 9.3 megabytes up to 59.4 megabytes, and then random 4K read went from 8.4 megabytes up to, so that should be, yeah, and then this is 8.4 and 2.1, and then up to 57.6 and 14.4. So definitely a drastic change there. Once again, the write speed 28.87 megabytes, and then up to 318 megabytes a second. So it's definitely really nice upgrade here. I'm just gonna open up a web page, see if that even goes faster. I would say so. I guess I could have basically done more with launching programs before to now and see if there was any major difference. Temperatures on the system sitting at about 41 degrees Celsius. Like I said before with the other system, I was probably in the mid 30s. The only time I'd hit 40 is under a heavy load. Let's load up a game. Okay, so that loads up quick. For some reason my wireless network is down. That's a new one, so I'm gonna have to enable that because it was working prior to the install of the M.2. So I'm not chalking it up as being something with that, but it could have been something with the process of copying everything over from the old drive to the new drive. So anyways, that's gonna do it for me. So I hope you had fun checking out the Argon 1 M.2 SATA drive with me. It definitely is performing better than with an SD drive or SSD drive on USB 2.0. So I definitely have expectations now with this unit. Now I'll be able to try some more when it comes to video rendering and a few other things. So I will be checking out that more. I might do an update or not. Let me know what you think in the comment section below if you want me to go through anything else. So thank you for watching, everyone. You have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Take care, eh?